Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Welcome to another Dailyish Devotional. I am Pastor Brian. A couple announcements quick. We are going to do online church again this Sunday, and then we'll decide about June. Just know there's lots of thought and prayer going into this. One decision that's going to make everyone happy. No matter which way we decide to continue with online or go to in-person worship, somebody's going to think it's the wrong decision. Just ask for your grace and forgiveness, whatever decision is made. So we're going to do our best. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. You just pray and ask for, like I said, grace and for the town coordinators for the TC Little League. They have to decide if they're going to do Little League, how they're going to make it work, all the guidelines that are out there. It's another nightmare. That I know people go gung-ho, get back to normal and doing those everyday activities, and that's important. But it's also another side of it is the danger, also how you follow all the guidelines and make it work. So just grace to their decisions too. I think that's a model for your life, going about to see people reacting differently as the little changes. Not where you are, not where they are. So grace and forgiveness. I went on a rabbit hole of watching videos last night that I never found. Let's just say it did not improve my opinion. We can do those things. Anyway, just be praying for us and our leaders that have to make decisions, and then just be willing to offer your grace, forgiveness, the decisions they have to make. Okay, off of my soapbox. Today's an exciting day if you're interested even remotely in space, I guess. Even my wife spent 2 hours an hour and a half before she had to go to bed. Somebody's got to get up in the morning. But we're watching on the Discovery Channel a 2-hour, what they call it, run-up or introduction to the SpaceX, their journey from beginning in 2002 to getting ready to launch a couple astronauts today. Hopefully the weather holds to the space. Their new Dragon capsule, they call it. Picture of the outside of it, and that's supposed to happen sometime today around 3:30, I think, if the weather holds up. So that's kind of exciting. A chance to enjoy it. I'll watch it if you do. If you have time. This cartoon was fun. You know, the parents just went on a road trip somewhere. In Ron's book, Start Your Trip with a Full Tank, today's lesson is called The Rebuilder's Dream. A few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, I decided to resurface the top of our cable. It had been written on by boys, scratched, used a fork to make a cool design in it, and I thought, I bet I can sand that down. And I thought more, I'll bet Carol can help me sand that down. Carol did, and we did, and it took, 3 tries before we got it right. The third time, finally did a little research on how you're supposed to do it right, and then did. And it looked pretty good until the kids did some more with some writing. You can still see some algebra equations in there. But that's okay, that's care. I think because Tracy figured out my expertise now had grown in refinishing, that she has an armoire that she would like to have refinished. So it matches the color of our other. Don't want to be there. I still like the mismatched furniture in our bedroom. Plus, refinishing and rebuilding that thing is a little bit different than just sanding it out. There's nooks and crannies and pieces that have to be taken off of that and then reassembled. Carol doesn't want to go to that much work. And neither do I, so I offered to paint it. So we might be doing that. But rebuilding projects, love them or hate them, we are a rebuilding project. Ron says from the Word of God, Judges chapter 6, God is looking for a general to rule his troops, beat the Midianites. So he speaks to Gideon in verse 11. The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah and belonged to Joash the Abiezrite. I butchered every one of those names. Where his son Gideon was thrashing wheat in the winepress to keep it from the Midianites. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." The Lord turned to Gideon and said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" "But Lord," Gideon asked, "how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family. The Lord answered, I'll be with you. We will strike down the Midianites, and we will strike down the Midianites together. There are numerous examples, maybe all of them, characters in the Old Testament, all living here. A vast majority of them are the underdogs. In that time, it was set up where the oldest in the family got the most rights, the most inheritance, the most responsibility. A lot of times God chose the youngest. David, Joseph, Jacob was his second born, Gideon here, or a woman, Deborah as a judge, Hagar to help with Abram and Sarah, and Ruth, Esther, all kinds of examples of the underdog, or at least rising up, doing amazing things. Ron says here that God didn't see what Gideon was. God saw what Gideon could be. And that God intended to make. Ron goes on, right? God looks at us the same way. God sees value much more than you do. God knows the person you were created to be. And God's photo album shows the step-by-step rebuild. If we truly believed in how God sees us, then it would change a little bit how we've lived our lives. Ron says, first, when you are down about who you are, if you're beating yourself up because you're not where you thought you would be, take a look back. See where you came from. See what you've lived through. See what you learned. See and notice God working in your past. And know that you are becoming something. Becoming something God intended you to be. Next, as Ron says, it says there, you feel down about yourself, or you're not a finished product. God is still working on you. I saw one quote that talked about if you're still breathing, God's not done with you yet. And then a big one. If you're dealing with other people, encourage the person God is building in them. See the potential in them that God sees in them and you. Tell people what they could be and the good that you see in them. This fourth one is for us parents. Don't get hung up on what your child is now. Look at what your child could be. Tell them that. Our inner monologue is important. I tell my children all the time. What you tell yourself is true. I can't make that shot. I can't do that. I can't make that recipe. I can't. You're right, you can't. Or you can tell yourself you can. And you're right. You can. When you are dealing with other people, encourage the person God is building in them. You, your friends, your mate, your children, all of Jesus. We're all in the rebuilding program of Jesus. As I talked in the beginning, offer yourself that grace given us to you. And realize that there is great potential in you. No breathing. God is not done. That is your reason to rejoice this morning. We see what we can be. Patiently, step by step, Master is making each one of us into the person God needs us. Be patient. God ain't finished yet.